Our band of sky pirates just stole a sacred artifact that'll help them find a treasure in the area from a group of pirate hunters. Turns out it was a trap, but they were able to get in, get out, get what they needed, but there is a mark of vengeance against our main character. Let's see what happens next. Let's play to find out. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Sacred, and this is the Sacred Art of Gaming, where we enjoy talking about tabletop gaming with an emphasis on solo play. And today we are emphasizing some solo play in Sundered Isles. I do struggle sometimes with PBTA type stuff, but I think we're making some progress. I think I'm getting a little bit of a groove. So yeah, let's get right into it. We did kind of start like in media res, where we were in the middle of the action. There is something that is technically supposed to happen before that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have like a little flashback as Icarus Talon, he is now sailing through the bleak mists. Oh man, there was the storm too, huh? So the epic storm that just went through the island of Matonga. And, you know, we're kind of coming over here and we're gonna land over at Kiribos. I'm trying not to say Kiribos because, I don't know, it just sounds so jungly, islandy, Pirates of the Caribbean, just like Matonga being the island itself, and I kind of want to get away from that, get a little bit more into Scorched Rift territory. But, because we're in the sky, baby. The captain, Icarus Talon, he's thinking about, you know, hearing that pirate hunter captain whose name I don't think I wrote down. I didn't write it down. What a shame. He's a big boy. He's a big boy with a cannonball in the end. I should write that down. I'll have to look at the video. Whoops. But so yeah, he swore vengeance on Icarus Talon. He knew his name too, as we left the area. But yeah, it's kind of hard to travel because of the bleak mist. Makes it hard to travel from island to island. Typically there's a whole like guild that helps with that. Anyways, we are experienced mariners. We're gonna make our way there. We're not too much further away, so we're not gonna stress too much about that. We just want to get there. But as he is kind of looking over the bow through the bleak mist, as it, you know, opens up every now and then, he has a brief little flashback as he heard about this information regarding the sacred relic that was needed, which turns out it was a sacred relic. We should describe that relic. The sacred relic that's needed to find the treasure that he wants that is off the island of Matonga somewhere. Now, our character here, Icarus Talon, he's an interesting fellow, and we don't have everything fleshed out yet, but he is part pirate, part freedom fighter, which I mean, kind of two flavors of the same thing depending on your perspective, I suppose. But sometimes he wavers more towards the greedy pirate, and sometimes the more noble freedom fighter, and it ebbs and flows, or so I think. We don't necessarily know why exactly. I have some inklings, but he's thinking back to when he swore this vow. He does have an iron blade that's broken, so he swore his vow on this when he did hear about it from I don't know, we'll say a previous contact from wherever he was previously. I don't know, we'll say Wellspring, I guess, sure. And he heard about the treasure in the area. Nobody has really known its whereabouts for quite some time, but he got a hint. He got a hint that there are some artifacts that are needed. I think it's artifacts. That's the whole point of this. And he now knows that there was a ship that was looking for it, and it crashed. He never would have known about that ship and the secrecy behind it, but because it crashed, whether through battle or the storm, likely the storm, another ship was being sent. That's how he found out. and he wants that artifact, and he did in fact get it, this sacred relic here. And what we want to do now is we're gonna think back to when he swore his iron vow on that blade. And is it just for greedy gain, building up his crew or his own wealth, or is it to fight back against this empire, the Brassfaran sovereignty? So we are going to start with swearing our iron vow with our flashback here. All right, so we're gonna do our flashback to him swearing the iron vow. Something I need to get better about is the fiction before the move, but the move drives the fiction for me. Maybe I'm doing it right, maybe I'm overthinking it. Let me know in the comments down below. So when you swear to complete a quest, write your vow and give it a rank, then roll plus heart. If you swear this vow to a connection, add +1. If you share a bond, add +2. Now, do I have, I guess I don't have it on here, so I guess we're gonna find out. I think it should be formidable. We'll say it's formidable. So yeah, we'll say it's formidable, and I want to say that like this season, assuming we get that far, will probably culminate with something regarding that treasure. He may not find it, but yeah. All right, so write your vow and give it a rank, then roll plus heart. If you swear this vow to a connection, okay. So we're not gonna swear it to a connection. This is more selfish. And we're gonna roll plus heart. Our heart is 2. All right, I gotta start remembering to add my modifiers. Here we go, baby, swearing our vow. Whew. Thankfully, I remembered the +2 just to get a weak hit, my goodness. So, and we'll say with the 10 here, the 2 moons, Cinder. Cinder is just off in the distance, much brighter than usual, as he swears this, he gets the information and he swears this vow amongst his crew members, and we'll say his quartermaster, Cyrus Dawson, is especially excited about all of this. So we have a weak hit. You are determined, but begin your quest with more questions than answers. Take +1 momentum and envision what you do to find a path forward. My own personal knowledge, strong hit. It's clear. So that's cool, we get momentum. Moving on up. Moving on up. You are determined, begin your quest with more questions than answers. So we, I guess where this gets a little tricky with the backtracking, I think it's okay. So we roughly knew the location of the ship, we made it work, but what we don't know is the location of the second part of the relic. And we'll say this first relic that we have is, and in this world, like technology, magic, magitech, makes me feel like maybe I should be implementing some Starforged stuff in here too. We'll say that, because there's like, yeah, there's magitech. So, I say the word, hopefully you picture it correctly. Let's say it's some type of like measuring device, like something that like what you'd see like cartographers use, where they're like measuring the distance, and it looks like it locks onto something. So I'm kind of picturing, I suppose we could draw. I'm kind of picturing a device that has like, kind of starts like this. Maybe like some kind of cool ornate handle. Sorry for my drawing. And on either side, there's like a spike that seems to, yeah, there's just like two pointed spikes. And then on the other side, perspective, this is what's going to be difficult. there's something that, based on Icarus Talen's limited knowledge of this stuff. I mean, he's found crazy things before on these islands. This is not something that's completely alien to him, but like this specific thing, he is unsure. But he does kind of grab the handle, and his guess would be that something is going to go inside of this, and these might like lock it in or something. And this thing, whatever this is, appears to do something to that thing that gets locked in there. So we will say that is the artifact that has been found. Other than that, he knows that there is a mystic that's on the island that may be able to help. Finding that mystic may be more difficult than he thinks, but he's gonna give it a shot. So yeah, I guess the more questions than answers piece would be like, what is this? How do you use it exactly? What is the other thing that he needs? He knows that he needs at least one other thing, maybe more. And then also like, who is going to help him? We know it's gonna be this person, because we had to roll it up with character creation. We didn't have to, but we did. So we followed most of the character creation steps. But yeah, so that's his little flashback there. Yeah, that's his little flashback. And then that's basically going to bring him to Land Ho on Matonga Island over at Kirbos. Now, Kirbos, here's just some of my notes that I wrote down here. Just so we are aware, if you didn't watch like the world building. So it's going to be a part of the Scorched Rift regions, which is the margins. This is going to be the island of Matonga, which is large and isolated. The island of Kirbos has low-lying wetlands with stagnant marshes. It's a small seaside village with a maze of canals, exposed mudflats on the coast, and a recent battle off of the coast. It's gloomy, tightly packed structures, grim vibes. We know that the primary faction is the Hollowed Eyes, which are welcoming and protective. Treasure said to be hidden. There's a mysterious sickness. There's a military fort. What's going on there with the prisoners, we don't know. And then a religious commune, and they're desperate for supplies. We're going to probably assume that religious commune is tied to the Hollow Eyes. Now, or Hollowed Eyes. And they are welcoming and protective. So I think that's a good place for us to start. And so as they pull up, they pull up like it's a space car. So we'll say like they have their docks. How would this work exactly? I think it might be like something, how nonsensical do I want to be here? This feels like a pretty low-tech area. So I want to say, when they pull up, there's going to be like, almost like a dock, but that dock is actually going to have like these large like nets that are underneath them, and you actually pull in between those docks. So if this was water, you'd technically be like underwater. The dock part is actually up top here, and when they pull up, those nets actually tighten up around the ship as they are like hovering, and it's immune to the any type of ignition underneath the ship, because we have some weird combination of magic and technology here. So there's some type of like hovering technology that exists there to some degree, in addition to our elementalist that's helping with the sails. So that's essentially gonna hold them in place. And then there's like another like stairs or something that just, or a ladder that they can walk up to, and then that's how they get in. So yeah, their ships almost like dangle below the docks in a sense. So yeah, they walk in, and then these people from the Hollowed Eyes, a lot of them they're walking around with robes. And keep in mind too, this massive, crazy storm just came through here somewhat recently. So there is also like devastation. This like cult, I mean, let's call it like we're seeing them here. They're kind of a cult. They appear, and one of them has a mask, and on that mask it actually has like two sky stars, we'll call them. They're like starfish, but they float in the sky, and the mask has the symbol of two like sky stars over the eyes. And all three of them, we'll say there's three, they all kind of approach, and they're very curious as to, you know, why they're here. Are they there to help? And Icarus does address them, and yeah, he's like, oh well, this is a lively bunch we have here. And they're just like, yes, welcome. We were not expecting to have visitors here today. And Icarus he's trying to like almost look around the mask, and he's looking around for anyone else who looks like normal, but it's kind of crazy around here. People, between the storm and then the sickness they don't know about yet. But yeah, he's looking around hoping to deal with somebody else, but this is what he has. And they're like, sir, have you come with supplies? And Icarus is like, nope, no, I was hoping to gain supplies. I was hoping to get things, not give stuff away. And God, this is most unfortunate. We are in dire need of help, sir. And Icarus is like, yes, aren't we all? And the mystics, very clear looking mystics, they let him know right here that yes, there has been a mysterious sickness that has been sweeping through the town. And this is almost like Venice, but like a Dark Souls version, I feel like, between like the stagnant marshes and the like maze of canals is kind of like what I'm picturing. So a little on the dreary side. Not to mention the grim vibes. I'm under the impression that I'm here looking for a mystic that might be aware of a treasure. And keep in mind, this treasure may be helpful for your people, for supplies as well. You know, if I were to find this treasure, I may be inclined to share and help out around here. And the ones without masks, they just kind of like look at each other, and the one with mask obviously has no expression that Icarus can see, but the one with the mask takes an awkwardly long pause and takes a deep breath and says, ah yes, you must be thinking of table. We need... Show me the oracles. Character oracles, 78. Yes, you must be thinking of... Oh no, did I move that? I think I did. 87. Jonas. I kind of like that. Jonas. Yeah, Jonas. By the way, I did write down the name of that pirate hunter. Ulan. Derp. This is going to be Jonas. Yes, you must be thinking of Jonas. Jonas was on the verge of figuring out many... You know what? Before, this is where things get a little tricky for me. Is this something that I should be making a move for instead of them just telling me? Check your gear. I think there is a... I know, yeah, gather information. Is this everything? Yeah. So there is gather information. That's the thing that's most likely going to happen while here. But will it be relevant to this? I'm not sure exactly. Because they may need... Oh, compel's another one. You search for clues, conduct an investigation, analyze evidence, or do research. That'll probably come soon, but I don't think is happening right now. Compelling, though. That I think probably is relevant. And I do think that he was kind of lying, swindling. So we will do roll with shadow on that. So for us, the viewers, we know about Jonas. What he will know, well, let's see. Doesn't look bad depending on this number. Oh, hell yeah. And my shadow is a 2. So that is a weak hit. A weak hit is above, but their agreement comes with a demand or complication. Envision their counteroffer. So they'll do what you want or agree to your conditions. Take +1 momentum. Okay. Don't gotta tell me twice. Getting some decent momentum here. Okay. So I think this fits in perfectly to our character situation. Might as well keep character names out because like that's gonna be a hot commodity. So we know that Kiana Caldis wants to solve a mysterious murder. She's also heartbroken. So I think it makes sense that this Jonas character was Kiana's lover. And I also think it makes sense that Jonas is probably the one that would have been helpful, but Kiana's what we got. So everything that she knows will probably just be secondhand from Jonas, which is something. Now, the complication is him being dead good enough? I think it is. So that's the complication. Do we want a demand? Is there a demand? We know they need supplies. So we'll say that this lead cultist character lets them know, or lets Icarus know about Jonas, but Jonas has perished mysteriously. And maybe their goal is similar to Kiana's. I think this cultist is pretty intelligent. Now this cultist, this cult is of the Hollowed Eyes, and their thing is kind of like death, but not death in a bad way. They kind of like, they honor death, they try to keep people healthy. So that kind of makes sense with this mysterious sickness, why so many of them have popped up over here. They're almost kind of like, does FEMA do that? Where they tend to go places to help out those in need whenever some type of health situation arises, like a mysterious sickness and also the storm. So they also wonder, like, is this place cursed? So they probably do like rituals and stuff too to help like bless the area as much as possible. It just adds to the grim setting with these robed nut jobs. That's unfair. These cultists walking around in this gloomy Venice. So they let him know that Jonas has perished, but because I would like to think that this cultist know? I think it's work. We can roll on the Oracle here. Does the cultist know that, probably easier to get a piece of paper that has it, that these two people were in a relationship? I want to say pretty likely, because I feel like leaders, they know things like that, unless they're just completely oblivious. But all right, so we're gonna say likely that this character knows about their relationship, so that's 75 or less. It's like a 55. So yeah, he does know. And because of that, he's actually going to point him in the direction of Kiana Caldus lets him know that although Jonas is no longer here, Kiana may be able to help him. But in exchange for them letting him know about this, that he needs to help Kiana. He needs to help Kiana cure the sickness. She's also going to selfishly want to solve the murder, but to help cure the sickness, and with that also comes supplies. Now, Icarus, he probably plays it off like he's not a good person, but I think he realistically is a good person. He's going to reluctantly agree as he kind of mulls it over. He thinks about how selfish he would like to be, and then just decides, oh, okay, yes, I suppose that is fair. And he's like, exactly how long would something like this take? And they kind of just walk away, and he's like, all right, well, I suppose we need to find this Kiana Caldus. Now, as they are going through the area here, I'm curious as to, is there anything else? Probably gather information on that now, but is there anything else? Because Sojourn, if I remember correctly, Sojourn is like chilling and taking a load off. When you spend time recovering within a community. Okay, yeah, I do think that is something that we're probably going to do. Would he go a strong hit? This is a safe refuge. You and your allies may each choose to. Yeah, I really don't need to recover in any way. Our ship actually went right back to what it was at based on a move that we had in our battle, so I think we're actually good there. But when you socialize, share intimacy, or find a moment of peace, heartened. Noted, but something to keep in mind. So many damn papers. Should probably just put most of them off to the side until I need them. Now, in this island, the Ashen Fleet of the Bonded Elder is dominant, which is really like our sailors, we'll say, like the people that specialize in getting people from one place to the other. They're not the Brass Farron sovereignty, but they are like okay with them. And then we also have the Hollowed Eyes. We also have our fellow Free Sky Syndicate pirates, and then we also have a bit of the Valakar clan. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is to get an idea as to like how much trouble do they have to feel like they're in. They definitely needed to be some Farrons here because of the military fort, which is a whole nother thing that we can do here while we're like on land. So how chill would this be? I feel like it's not too crazy. I do think that they're going to start taking in the sights. But you know what? This place was just demolished by a crazy storm. And people in the area are actually talking about the storm. They're talking about how this storm is like supernatural levels of crazy. So when this storm came through, picture a hurricane, but also picture that hurricane infused with like magical energy. And I think that magical energy is also going to do that ball lightning, I think it's called, that happens in like real life, but we'll say like just a ton of it happened, where there was just like blue balls of light that was just going everywhere. And those balls of light have a lot of like electricity within them till they dissipate, and they zap people and they're done. It's a lot of energy. So there are people everywhere that are weeping. They're trying to rebuild. They're trying to gather things that was destroyed. We'll even say too that in addition to those like balls of of like that ball lightning that would just kind of spread throughout the area. There's also like pillars of almost like blue flame, like just real crazy intense stuff. Luckily there wasn't a ton of burning because of the wet marshy area that we're in here. But yeah, it's actually pretty bleak. So even like selling stuff, probably not the best place for that. Things are bad. We'll say Kirbos definitely got hit pretty hard here. But he's actually, as he's looking through, cue the sad music, he's experiencing all these people that have lost quite a bit. They're actually going through and looking at all of this, and eventually they see someone who is like fixing an inn, or something that looks like an inn. And Icarus knows that this is usually a pretty good place to get information, so he does approach that person and he asks if they are the innkeeper or if the innkeeper is nearby. And are they the innkeeper? We'll say 50-50. Nope. No, definitely not. But is the innkeeper nearby? We'll say likely. Yes. Yeah, they are definitely nearby. So that person kind of points him in the direction of the innkeeper. Icarus, he does introduce himself, and he also like starts helping a little bit too. He kind of motions to some of his people to kind of like help rebuilding the inn. And he's trying to get information from this innkeeper regarding Kiana, and he lets him know that yeah, it's likely someone in a black robe, probably lost someone recently, so probably a sad person in a black robe. And the innkeeper will say kind of like an older woman, mid-50s, and she's kind of like, well, honey, looks like there's quite a few people fitting that description, as everyone is either sad or, a lot of people walk around in black robes trying to help in the ways that they do. So he's like, well, he tries to give her an additional nugget of information, and he lets her know that maybe it's someone who has been very interested in like curing the sickness that has happened here. He's like, I understand that, you guys have gone through a lot of terrible things here lately. He's like, listen, I'm just trying to help. I really am. Yeah, I think that's good. I was thinking about offering something, but I don't know. I don't know if we're that nice. So this definitely sounds like gathering information. Aha, all right. So searching for clues, conducting an investigation, analyzing evidence, or doing research. Is this, or is this compel? Attempt something. This doesn't really feel very. I mean, we are gathering I'm not going to overthink it. We're trying to gather information about a person. We're rolling plus wits. Is this wits though? I think I'm going to take it upon myself to. This feels a little bit more like heart, and I'm not saying that because it's actually a little bit better. That's actually a coincidence, but that didn't feel like wits. That felt like, I would either say either heart or shadow. Either way, it's a 2. Heart being he's genuinely concerned. Shadow being he's kind of being sneaky about it. I think he is being genuine about this though, because as he took that walk and he saw like women and children and fathers and mothers and grandparents and uncles and brothers and sisters and all of them like suffering. And then there's those weirdos in the black robes. So yeah, we think this is gonna be heart. All right, another weak hit in the books. things are working as intended. So weak hit. Information provides new insight, but also complicates your quest. Envision what you discover, then take +1 momentum. Momentum's looking pretty good here. So, haha, I have a thought. So, she's actually going to say that, it's like, yes, honey, I think I do know the woman that you're talking about, and she also wears a black robe, you were saying? He's like, yes, that is the impression that I am under. And she's like, well, it's very unfortunate. I know before the storm, she actually took off into the marsh. She took off into the marsh because she was led to believe that there was a plant that would help with the sickness. And, do I want to name this plant? Do I want to just call this plant something? Is there an oracle that will help me name this plant? Probably not, but that's okay. Miscellaneous oracles. Let's take a look at that. I gotta remember about this section. There's some good stuff back here. I think we already... Good to know that that stuff is back there, but I think we're good. Yeah, we will say Matonga, Kirbos, Marsh, Wetlands, something pod. We'll say it is... So I want it to sound exotic. I kind of wanted to say Swamp Pod, which sounds close to what I want, but I think I just need a little something, a little... something that makes it sound a little more rare. Jade Swamp Pods. That didn't shake the camera too much. Alright, so yeah, she lets him know that, yeah, she actually went out into the wilderness, we'll say southwest of their location. So if you kind of like hug the coastline and go in a little bit, you want to look for these Jade Swamp Pods. And that's really all she's gonna give them. That, you know, you need to follow the coastline. When it starts to go east again, then you know you've gone too far. So it's kind of like roughly in this area is where we're looking for. And she said, honey, you'll know when you find the large area of those Jade Swamp Pods, because there's such a deep green, such a deep green that just, it stands out from the rest of the area, and they're just bulbous, such an emerald green, bulbous looking vegetation, and you'll find them in clusters of 8 to 12. So picture like big disgusting grapes on the ground on the side of a canal or a creek or something. And he's like, of course. Okay. He lets her know that he does appreciate her time, and he is going to take off on this journey. Now, taking off on a journey, I think, gives us, even though we're not going through the sky, I do think there is something for undertaking a journey. That'll probably be where we end this one. Then we'll have a good idea where to pick up. Let's see. Undertake an expedition, 118. Alright, when you sail an unfamiliar route through perilous seas, find the way across hazardous terrain or explore a mysterious site. When you divert from an expedition to examine a notable location. Does this count? I think for no other reason other than to get the reps in. If I'm wrong, I think that is a thing that I will do. So yeah, we'll go ahead and, because we're not familiar with this area, and everything's just been like crazy devastated from this magical storm that just took place. So yeah, I think we will. We will, and we're gonna try and do it as fast as possible. So I think we're gonna roll edge. Now, does Icarus bring crew members with him? Yeah, I would say so. He's just gonna take some like no-name crew members, I wanna say. And so, you know, we'll say he's gonna take like 2 or 3. We'll say 3. And they're gonna try and get there as fast as possible, because if you take too many people, then it slows things down. So yeah, let's go. We're gonna try and find Kiana. We are not gonna find Kiana. We're never finding Kiana. Damn. So that's yeah, that's a 4. So that is a miss. On a miss, you are waylaid by a crisis or arrive at a waypoint to confront an immediate hardship or threat. Do not mark progress and pay the price. We have to give this expedition a name and rank. Starting to get the feeling we're going to be doing a lot of those. Guess I should have known. Okay. Now, I think we're going to erase this because we don't need it. I think this is going to be dangerous. Not too bad. And I think we are going to find Kiana and the Jade Swamp Pods. All right. Now, I think what's going to happen here is I think we're going to get to a waypoint. We're going to get to a waypoint, which I'll be honest with you, I don't really know what that means. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't. I don't know how else to say it. I think it's, I'm picturing like Dragonbane. So it's going to be like a stopping point. So we're kind of on our way. And we're trying to get here. We're going to say there's a waypoint here. And I want to say because the storm, all right, so we have our moves here for paying the price. So the most obvious, or we can ask the Oracle, someone acts against me. Okay. I think we're going to encounter signs of a looming threat. I like that a lot. I think this is just where my mind is going, probably because there's an image for this. As they are walking in the area, they actually find these very large, strange tracks and like almost holes in the mud as they go around, and they're just kind of like, what the hell could this be? And the coast, yeah, man, even I keep forgetting out that it's not water, it is the air that's on the coast. So but there is a lot of wetlands though, so that does kind of still apply, a lot of canals and stuff. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with my initial thing, but we'll see, it could change. So yeah, just a lot of like crazy looking tracks and big holes. And then also like, let's say, yeah, we'll just say lots of crazy like mud formed in strange ways, but it was definitely something quite large that did this. So there's just these large like mud like homes for some type of large creature, and it's really throwing them off. It's actually like becoming quite an obstacle, so they have to go completely around it. Confront an immediate hardship or threat. Does this count? Yeah, I think because it should be immediate, I feel like it's too early. Let's say as they are going through, they actually find these like weird looking eggs. And these eggs are probably the size of like their head, but these eggs are weird looking. They almost look like fish eggs. So there's just like a large bundle of all of these eggs. And as they are walking, Icarus is like, shh, and they're walking through this squishy, disgusting mud. Sometimes as they're walking, it actually goes up like to their waist. So they're trying so hard to work their way through this. And out of one of the eggs, something kind of like reaches out, and they see like just a claw, a big claw, just kind of, and it starts working its way through the egg. And one of these crabs that is seemingly a baby is like kind of this, almost the size of their head. And one starts to hatch, another one starts to hatch, a few more start to hatch, and they're just kind of like, Icarus is like, boys, come on, we gotta, let's get moving. We gotta get the hell out of here. And I think that is where we will end it for the next time. We'll have to figure out what is going on with this potentially giant crab or small crab situation. We're gonna assume that that is not a normal thing that they know about. The lady did not mention it, but I don't know, we shall see. Will they find Kiana? If you are curious about anything or have any thoughts, of course, leave me a comment down below. I love reading them and responding to them. If you like this video, don't forget to slap a like on this bad boy. And if you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing. I will see you in the next one as we continue to explore the sacred art of gaming.